Welcome back to this channel. It's your resident internet psychic medium and spiritual advisor, Mystic Rain. And for today's video, we are going to be answering a question and talking about something that can truly change your life. Finding your money blocks. If you've been struggling to attract abundance or wondering why financial flow feels blocked, then this video is for you. Before we jump in, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at I am Mystic Rain for daily spiritual insights and advice. And if you haven't yet already, check out my new book, The Fool's Guide to Tarot, available now on Amazon, and the link to that book is in the description box below. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are money blocks? We hear it a lot on the internet, but what are people actually talking about? So money blocks are subconscious beliefs or attitudes you hold about money that prevent you from experiencing financial abundance. These beliefs can stem from childhood, societal conditioning, or even past experiences with money that shaped how you feel about wealth. So for example, you may have heard growing up that money is the root of all evil, or that rich people are greedy. These ideas can become ingrained in your mind and create invisible barriers to attracting money in your life. Even if you're doing everything right on the outside, these blocks can keep you from fully manifesting financial flow. When it comes to how to identify your money blocks, awareness is the first step. It's the first step to releasing them. And so the best thing that you can do in this fun little exercise that I'm about to put you through is to just grab a quick pen and paper, pause me really quick, and then that way we can scribble some notes and then we can dive into it, okay? So, number one is reflect on your money story, right? Like releasing money blocks requires you to do some deeper digging. Reflect on your money story and start by reflecting on what was the story? What messages did you hear about money when you were growing up? What did your parents or caregivers believe about wealth and money? Did they stress over money? Did they save obsessively or avoid talking about money altogether? Write down the beliefs you grew up with around money, and this will give you clues about where your blocks may be rooted. Second thing is to then pay attention to how you feel about wealth, right? So next, you want to then tune into your feeling when you think about money. Do you feel excited or do you feel guilty? Do you feel afraid? Do you feel shameful? Do you feel happy? Do you feel optimistic? Your emotional reactions reveal a lot about your underlying beliefs when it comes to money. Maybe you think you don't deserve to have a lot of money, or that having money will somehow change who you are as a person. These beliefs are common money blocks that often fly under the radar. So let's quickly go over what are some common money blocks that people may experience. You might see this in yourself, like 1 or 2 or 3 of these in yourself. And you also may be able to see it in other people that are close to you, that are around you, in their behaviors and in their habits, right? So number 1, the belief that money is evil or bad. If you believe that having money is wrong, or that people with the money or wealthy people are like inherently greedy, then on a subconscious level, you'll push money away to avoid becoming one of them, right? Because you have some kind of underlying money story that people with money are the other. Number 2 is scarcity mindset. So this is the belief that there's never enough, whether it's money, whether it's time, whether it's resources. You may constantly worry that if you spend, you won't have enough for later, which then causes you to hoard and hold on to money too tightly. And by doing that, you block the flow of abundance. And so when I'm explaining scarcity mindset to people, it's like this. It's like holding on to what you have so hard that when your hands and your fist are so tightly closed, there's nowhere for new money to go, because there's nowhere for it to land because your hands aren't open. Fear of responsibility. Sometimes People will block financial abundance because they're afraid of the responsibility that comes with having more money. You might be afraid that having money will change your relationships or bring more stress into your life. There is this saying, more money, more problems, right? And so you may think that it comes with actual problems, right? I've heard for some people that, and this is also a block that I used to have. Actually, you know what? Let me back up and not talk about other people. Let me just be real with you for a second. I used to have a money block around tax bracket. I actually used to be concerned that if I went into a new tax bracket, I would owe more taxes, and I didn't want to do that. And I actually remember calculating how much money to not make so I did not go into that new tax bracket and then owe the government more money, because there is a weird threshold where once you hit it, somehow, some way, the amount of money you come back with is less than what if you than it would have previously have been. And so I remember going, okay, well, if I make $99,999 and I don't go to $100,000, like what would be the tax implications of that? And I remember trying to figure out how to stay below the threshold because I didn't want to pay more in taxes. I went through an experience where I realized that like, it is possible to make enough money where you then owe money to the government every year during tax time, right? Until you figure out your taxes. And I didn't know that, right? So this was a responsibility block that I had growing up. During tax time, my family used to get very excited because they would say, ooh, we're about to come into some money, right? The government was about to cut them a check. Everyone in my family used to always get a check. They used to always get money during tax return time. And so I remember the first time the government was like, we don't owe you any money, because I had made too much money. I was distraught. And I remember thinking I can never do this again. And instead of viewing it at the time as a blessing of like, great, like, thanks, I viewed it as a burden. And because I didn't understand taxes at the time, I actually ended up owing the government a couple $1,000s. And so, it was a tax responsibility that I was trying to avoid. And I also didn't know that I had because I hadn't seen someone reach that threshold before. And then after reaching that threshold, I tried to figure out, well, how do I make less money so I don't owe it was $2,000. It was like $2,000-3,000 or something like that I don't owe that money again, right? So I actually went the opposite way, because growing up, the money story for me was that during tax time, you got money. And so when I had reached a certain threshold and no longer got money, that was really like mind-boggling for me. And it forced all these things to come up. And there was a lot of things that I had to address around money. I had initially viewed that experience as being a punishment, like, oh, I made so much money, so you're not going to give me any money. I thought it was a punishment. I didn't know. I didn't know any better at that time. I had to I had to do the work to unwind all of the narratives that I had carried with me since childhood, since the first time I had watched my mother, for example, sit down at the kitchen table and then woo-hoo because she got money during tax time. And I had to accept that I was not that person, and I didn't get money because I already made money, right? But I had to learn that that was a good thing, that it was a good thing that I didn't get any money. It was a good thing that I didn't overpay the government, right? It was a good thing, right? But I had to learn that. And just like I had to learn that, it's the same thing for you. Recognizing these blocks is the key to releasing them. You can't release or let go of what you don't acknowledge. So once you identified your money blocks, the next step is to start releasing them. This is where the mindset work and the energy work come into play. So here are a few techniques that you can use in order to try to do this. So the first technique is reframing limiting beliefs, right? Take those limiting beliefs you wrote down earlier and begin to reframe them. For example, if you wrote down money is hard to come by, reframe it into money flows easily, money flows effortlessly into my life. write down your new beliefs and repeat them to yourself daily. You want to reframe or replace the old belief with a new positive belief. 2, you can use positive affirmations. Now, here's the thing about affirmations. Affirmations only work if you believe what you're saying. So you need to be in full belief of this, right? But affirmations are powerful tools for rewiring your subconscious mind. You can say things like, I deserve to be wealthy. I am wealthy. Money flows to me in unexpected ways. I am a magnet for abundance. Money likes me. Money is my friend. Say these affirmations aloud every morning or as part of your meditation practice, right? Or one of my favorites, I am money. And a third thing that you can do is work on your energy, right? Money is energy. And when you have blocks around money, your energy can become stagnant. And it's also usually a clue that you have blocks around self, right? So you can clear these blocks through practices like meditation, through energy healing, physical movement sometimes like dancing or yoga to shift the energy around, or by shifting your mindset. That's probably the most important, impactful, powerful, energetic shift that you can do is to shift your mindset, the energy that's flowing through here around what you feel about money, what you think about money, and what your relationship is to money. Now, for some people, I think using tools can help. I do not think that this is required. I do want to preface by saying that, but I do think that it can help because when I started my money journey, I had tools, right? It was hard for me in the very beginning to realize that everything changes if you change this. Everything shifts if you shift this because everything is the mind. Once you gain control of the mind, you gain control of life, right? But before I was there, before I fully understood that, I had tools, right? And so you can use crystals, for example. So you can use crystals like citrine, pyrite, green, aventurine. These are all known for attracting abundance, for clearing out financial blocks. You can carry them with you, keep them in your pocket, meditate with them, and this can help amplify your money mindset. I used to always carry pyrite. Pyrite is known as the fool's gold. I always had pyrite. I would put it in my pocket. I had pyrite so deep that I got stopped at the airport because pyrite was in my bag, and when it goes through the scanner, it looks like a bomb. Now you know, don't repeat my mistake. They pulled me into secondary screening and they were like, ma'am, what is in your bag? And I had like tarot cards and shit and then like crystals, but the pyrite in particular, the scanners don't like those. So just, if anyone was thinking about it, don't take it through the airport. But I used to always have it. It was always in my pocket. I used to stuff them in my bra sometimes. I used to take pyrite with me if I was going to a new job interview that I was trying to get. Anything that had to do with business and money, I always use pyrite. You can also, too, use tools like tarot and oracle cards, and you can simply ask, like, what do I need to do to help me start clearing out these blockages? And you can use, like, the messages to help you uncover some of your subconscious blocks, right? So you can try doing a reading specifically on your relationship with money to gain, like, insight into what's holding you back. And then you can also try visualization and journaling, right? So visualize yourself as financially abundant and writing about what your life looks like with the financial freedom, right? You want to and visualize it, and then you want to put it on paper because that brings it into your reality. That brings it into the 3D because it now exists here. It's gone from here to here. It's gone from pen to paper, and it's now in your physical world, right? Visualize yourself as financially abundant and write about what your life looks like, right? And then write about how you feel. For some of you, this may be an easy exercise. You may feel super happy and excited, but for some of you, you may start writing and notice that you feel nervous, right? Use this as an opportunity to really dig deep into why something like that may actually make you feel nervous. Finding your money blocks and releasing your money blocks, it takes time and it takes patience, and it is something that's continuous, right? It will always be an ongoing practice because every time you reach a new tier or you reach a new tax bracket, you're gonna have to do this work again, right? But trust me, it's worth it. Abundance is your birthright. The more you work on shifting your mindset, the more you'll see your external world begin to change. And I really want that for you. I hope today's video inspired you to start identifying and releasing the blocks that are holding you back from true financial abundance. Remember, you are worthy of wealth and prosperity. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss another upload. Drop a comment below and let me know, what money blocks are you working on releasing? And don't forget to grab a copy of my book, The Fool's Guide to Tarot, on Amazon, and the link to that is in the description box below. If we don't meet again, I'll see you next lifetime.